Northwest, which means there has never been a more rewarding time to visit your Lincoln dealer.
Are Portland's prostitution-free zones working? Sunday at 6.
On World News Tonight this Wednesday, one of the president's closest advisors is named in the Whitewater trial, now underway in Arkansas.
I did nothing wrong. There is no purpose or reason for me to resign.
A White House summit meeting today on church fires. Racially motivated, says the president, but no evidence of a conspiracy. And the cereal price wars. We'll tell you how much the cereal really costs.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin again tonight with the Whitewater affair. Today, the reach of the independent counsel who's investigating the many sides of Whitewater has reached deep into the White House and focused on one of the president's closest advisors. The man in question is Bruce Lindsay. He has been named today as an unindicted co-conspirator in a case being tried in Arkansas now that involves money given to Bill Clinton's campaign for governor 6 years ago. Here is ABC's Jackie Judd.
President Clinton, whose relationship with Lindsay goes back to the early days of Arkansas, quickly came to the defense of his friend and deputy counsel.
I've got lots of confidence in him. I'm confident he didn't do anything wrong.
But naming him an unindicted co-conspirator puts Lindsay right in the middle of a political corruption trial. Prosecutors are now able to introduce testimony involving Lindsay that otherwise would have been inadmissible. Testimony to build the government's case against two bankers charged with conspiracy in connection with Mr. Clinton's 1990 gubernatorial campaign.
It means that he is not charged by name in the case, but it means that they regard him as a co-conspirator in the case.
Defense attorney Guthrie says prosecutors plan to link Lindsay to an alleged conspiracy to hide two large cash withdrawals from a campaign account at the Perry County Bank, including $30,000 taken out by Lindsay. Prosecutors claim the bank never reported the withdrawals to the IRS and apparently will introduce evidence that Lindsay was part of the scheme.
It is silly to suggest that I would commit a crime to not file something with the IRS and turn around and immediately file it with the people of Arkansas.
He is referring to campaign finance reports reflecting the withdrawal that were filed with the state a month after the election. Lindsay says he has not offered the president his resignation and doesn't plan to. But this is a blow to a White House facing a near bombardment of bad news. For Lindsay, it could get worse. Prosecutors say the door is not closed to the possibility of an indictment in the case. Jackie Judd, ABC News, Washington.
As for the other major issue, which has cast the White House in a dubious light, that of the FBI files, Mr. Clinton has now named a new head of the White House Security Office. Charles Easley is a former Army counterintelligence specialist who first came to the White House during the Reagan administration. This investigation of how private FBI files got to the White House today got to the White House in period, was moved to Capitol Hill today. Here's ABC's Britt Hume.
On Capitol Hill, Nancy Gemmell, a former employee of the Clinton White House Personnel Security Office, seemed to dispute the word of Anthony Marcisa, the man who requested those hundreds of FBI files. He said he got the list of names from a departing co-worker, apparently Gemmell.
And did you personally give him a list?
Oh, no, sir. I had no idea who would be assuming that responsibility.
Gemmell said she did leave behind a huge master list of names furnished by the Secret Service, but she said the list used by the White House did not appear to be the same.
So it would be your impression, then, that the list that we're dealing with now, the 400-plus names, at least that's what it is for the moment, was to be charitable, a refinement of the Secret Service list that you were familiar with?
Yes, sir. 400 names would have been just a portion of that huge printout received.
Gemmell also called into question just how secure those FBI files were once they came to the White House and were put in a vault in the security office.
Did interns work in this office during the Clinton administration?
Yes, ma'am. There were both students and volunteers.
Did they work in the vault ever?
Yes, ma'am, they did.
How old were they?
Extremely young, ma'am. I would say...
To me, everybody is young, but...
I would say perhaps between 18 and 20.
At the same hearing, White House lawyers from two previous Republican administrations said that in their day, people whose FBI files were requested nearly always knew about it, and that besides, it almost never happened to members of past administrations.
I do not recall any instance in which the report of an official from a prior administration was requested unless it was in connection with an appointment by President Reagan.
In addition, ABC News has been told Craig Livingstone, who headed the White House Personnel Security Office during all this business with the FBI, did not himself obtain a security clearance until more than a year later. Security clearances are not legally required to handle FBI files, but one White House aide today, commenting on how it all looks, said for the head of security not to have a security clearance, that's a problem. Britt Hume, ABC News, the White House. Peter?
Britt, stay for a moment, who had, despite the rain. While Britt was working the FBI story today, he and his colleagues were also turning up what may be an important new development in the Paula Jones sexual harassment case against the president. Britt, what have you found?
Peter, it appears tonight that Paula Jones and her lawyers are now looking for a way out of that sexual harassment suit against the president. And I am told by sources close to the case that they have made an offer of settlement to the president.
And do we know what the terms are?
The terms include the following, Peter. On the key question of whether the president did what Paula Jones said, she would continue to maintain her allegations. He would continue to maintain his denials under this agreement if it were ever reached. However, there would be the following other conditions. The president would say that, yes, indeed, he did meet her that day in that hotel in Arkansas, that she did nothing improper sexually, and that he regretted, the president regretted, the American Spectator magazine article in which aides close to him had suggested that she had indeed gone along with some improper entreaties. And finally, Peter, he would say that he would have no objection to his insurance company paying her legal bills. Now, I should tell you that the lead counsel in the case on both sides both say that they are not near a settlement in this matter, and indeed the president's counsel has said that he's not interested in settling the case. But according to sources, this offer has been made.
Okay, Britt, thanks very much. You may now go inside. Thank you. In a moment, the president, the governors, and the church fires. And also on the broadcast tonight, the new price wars over breakfast cereal. And from one of the four corners, a place of worship that will soon be closed to the public. They say forever.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Time Life Medical.
As Surgeon General, he fought for us and warned us.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now he wants to help us through one of the most difficult moments in life. The moment you or a loved one face a serious diagnosis. C. Everett Koop and Time Life Medical are introducing individual videos with workbooks that help you better understand your medical condition.
It's really a very simple idea. No prescription is more valuable than knowledge.
Time Life Medical at your pharmacy now.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch. I love the crunch.
Good crunch. Bad aim. Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
Claritin.
I'll ask my doctor.
It's time to see your doctor.
For a trial of Claritin.
Yes, ask your doctor for a trial of Claritin. For free information and a $5 coupon toward a prescription for Claritin, call 1-800-CLARITIN.
President Clinton spent part of the day publicly searching for a way to deal with the many church fires in the South. He had 7 Southern governors come in to work the issue with him, and here is ABC's John Cochran.
By first visiting a burned church and then inviting Southern governors to the White House today, the president couldn't have done much more to spotlight the fires. But he insisted that government attention does not encourage more burnings.
Well, I don't think it will over the long run, because the people will see that we're being effective in prosecuting these cases.
Since January of last year, federal authorities have investigated 56 fires at black churches and 40 fires at other churches. So far, they have made 10 arrests in connection with 7 of those fires. Is the outbreak of fires over the past 18 months a coincidence or a conspiracy?
No, I do not believe that based on the evidence I have seen, it is a conspiracy. On the other hand, I do believe a lot of these incidences are racially motivated, and they tend to play off of one another.
The president said federal, state, and local officials will help churches start surveillance and security programs to stop arsonists.
That's the first thing we need to do, is apprehend those who are guilty.
Even if they're youngsters, even if they're minors, they are really going to be punished severely, and we're going to be changing a lot of laws so that we can do more to them.
The House has already passed a tough measure making it easier for federal officials to prosecute anyone involved in church arson. Today, two senators who rarely agree on anything, Republican Locke Faircloth and Democrat Edward Kennedy, sponsored an even tougher bill providing for 20-year prison terms.
If we in Congress can't agree that church burning is a despicable crime, then what can we agree upon?
It's not just Washington politicians who are trying to help. So are white churches, Jewish groups, labor unions, and notably, the Sons of Confederate Veterans in Charleston, South Carolina, who offered $1,000 rewards for arrests and convictions. John Cochran, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
You heard two governors comment there in that report. A little earlier, we talked to another one, Republican Governor of South Carolina, David Beasley. Republican Governor Bush in Texas didn't come to this meeting today because he said it was a photo opportunity only. Do you think he was wrong?
Well, Governor Bush has got to speak for Governor Bush, and I have a lot of respect for him. I do know that this was a very productive meeting, and it was very successful. I admit it, I was very surprised it would be this productive, and I think everybody walked out of that room, Democrat and Republican, president and governors walked out very moved by what they heard, as we all felt a deep sense of commitment to this issue in a unified sense.
Why do you think local police are having so much difficulty, or more to the point, are not solving a lot of these crimes?
Peter, when someone goes in the middle of the night and burns a church, and that church may be 2 miles down a dirt road or 5 miles out in a very rural community where there are no residents to witness a crime, it's very difficult to find these people. But we do know a lot of these crimes are based upon hatred, and God knows if we can come up with the answer to hatred and racism and bigotry and intolerance, God, we will have done a lot for America.
Governor, thank you very much. One of the reasons it is difficult to deal with all these fires is the different explanations. In North Carolina today, 2 men have been arrested for setting fire to the Mount Tabor Baptist Church on May the 23rd. Both the men arrested are black. No word on why they did it. And fire officials now say that faulty wiring caused 2 of the other most recent fires, one in Rocky Point, North Carolina on Monday, and one this morning on Maryland's eastern shore. And there is more to this. As you heard President Clinton say this afternoon, he doesn't believe the publicity about all these fires will make the problem worse by leading to copycat fires, but it's very much a concern among law enforcement officials, and it is very much on the minds of some of us in the media, too. Here's ABC's Carol Simpson.
Americans have been seeing more and more pictures like these emblazoned on television screens the past few months.
Channel 2 Action News at 5.
And they've been hearing more and more reports like these.
Fires at the sanctuary of a Georgia church.
As the media began to focus more attention on the church burnings, the number of incidents has gone up dramatically. Some fire officials say the media is partly to blame.
There are copycats in this group of 39. 39 church fires against one ethnic group just don't happen accidentally.
And indeed, after the first fire was reported in January of 1995, there were sporadic church burnings every other month or so. This year started off with 3 or 4 a month. But since the 1st of June, there has been a black church fire almost every night.
Even members of the media wonder if by reporting the church burnings, they're making a bad situation worse.
While we have to be careful about not sensationalizing and not inflaming the situation, there's also a good side to the media coverage, and that is putting the spotlight where it belongs on those who are committing these terrible crimes.
Black church leaders criticized the media for not reporting the problem sooner. Now they believe the coverage is doing more good than harm.
I believe that it was a necessary ingredient in wiping out the denial in the country that racism was alive and sick as ever, and that these fires represented a national crisis.
People from all over the country have begun to flood the South to help rebuild the churches. Everybody agrees that without news coverage, that may not have happened. Carol Simpson, ABC News, Washington.
The Federal Aviation Administration is under fire again. New changes in the way it does its job right after this.
Why is it that wrinkles on men are supposedly distinguished and on women they're not? I have tried every beauty product that has ever come out. I have a museum of old products that are collecting dust somewhere in my house. That's why I went to my doctor. I don't have those little wrinkles went away. There's a smoothness. The best thing I ever did for my skin was to go to my doctor. It looks good without makeup. to get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and just, I'm enough. I love that.
See your doctor to look your best or call 1-800-308-SKIN.
Sandwiches taste better when somebody else makes them. But you gotta make it with good stuff, like Healthy Choice cold cuts. There's less salt, only 1 gram of fat. So with Healthy Choice, I can eat what I like. Call me picky, just don't call me late for lunch.
Cappuccino Blast. Cool, rich, wild. Only from Baskin-Robbins.
You want dazzling whiter teeth? Aquafresh whitening with fluoride is clinically proven to whiten better than Crest. What's in this anyway? The patented TriClean formula safely breaks up stains to help get your teeth their whitest. Aquafresh whitening for dazzling whiter teeth.
Time is on my side. Yes, it is.
People today are living longer and healthier lives. And at Nature Made, we like to think we've been a part of it. As the makers of vitamin and mineral supplements that are recommended by pharmacists more than 1,000 times a day. Nature Made, recommended by pharmacists, made for a lifetime.
Introducing Correctol Herbal Tea Laxative in silky honey lemon and rich cinnamon spice. All the gentle overnight relief a woman's body needs. Correctol Herbal Tea Laxative.
Tonight, spend a week on death row. Walk the last mile with a man condemned to die. Profound, truly outstanding. Go where cameras have never been allowed before. Superb, impressive. Don't miss this gripping prime time tonight.
A couple of items about ValueJet today. The airline has agreed to pay for the government safety investigation that actually grounded the airline. And we also learned today that 2 mechanics working for a ValueJet subcontractor signed work orders that falsely indicated those oxygen canisters, the ones linked to the fire and last month's crash, had been fitted with safety caps when they had not. And the ValueJet crash has exposed serious problems with the agency responsible for air safety in the country, the FAA. But as ABC's Barry Serafin reports tonight, the problems are anything but new.
Hours after the ValueJet crash, FAA officials vouched for the safety of the airline, despite its own internal reports showing problems with ValueJet. Then, this week, grounded. In 1994, after an American Eagle turboprop crashed in Indiana, the FAA insisted that model of plane was safe, despite warnings from the National Transportation Safety Board. Then, a week later, ordered it not to fly in icy weather. Critics say FAA inspectors are often lenient with airlines.
A lot of the inspectors have told me, as we've talked privately, that in fact they have backed off on certain things, all right?
Because?
Because if they were too stringent on them, it would bankrupt them.
One problem cited by critics is the FAA's dual missions, both promoting and regulating the airline industry. Transportation Secretary Pena has called on Congress to change the agency's mandate, focusing only on safety. House Transportation Committee Chairman Bud Schuster calls it a red herring, saying the agency's primary mission has always been safety. But others call the proposal long overdue.
Let the airlines promote air travel. We don't need the federal government involved in promoting air travel.
Even those who endorse the idea of changing the FAA's mission do not see it as a cure for the agency's problems. Problems that they say stem from the FAA's failure to adapt to the rapidly changing industry it is supposed to regulate. Barry Serafin, ABC News, Washington.
When we come back after the stock report, what your bowl of cereal is really worth.
Looking to quench your thirst? Squeeze a juicy lime into an ice-cold O'Doul's. It's outrageously refreshing.
Hey! I hate it when he does that.
Try the Olive Garden's new Pronto menu for lunch, featuring our soup, salad, and breadsticks, only $4.95. Just one of many delicious lunches now served with your busy schedule in mind. The new Pronto menu at the Olive Garden for lunch.
These days, you're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does, too.
Don't move. Introducing the all-new 1997 Ford F-150. With even more horsepower and torque, and all the legendary strength of an F-Series. Better get to the Grand Canyon before we do. The all-new Ford F-150.
This new deck cost me a bundle.
You'd better protect it. Thompson's Water Seal Wood Protector is on guard against water damage, mildew, rot, and fading. That's why it's #1 for wood. Thompson's is protection.
It hurts so bad. That burning sensation. I just wanted it to be over with fast. So I saw my doctor. My doctor said Mylanta. He said heartburn and acid indigestion may start in your stomach, but where it hurts is all through here. And that's where fast-acting Mylanta liquid works fast on heartburn. Soothing non-contact, all down through here where you want help fast. Yeah, my doctor's pretty smart. My doctor said Mylanta.
A brief important note about AIDS today. 5 teams of scientists report finding that 1 and possibly 3 new receptors exist. They're the doorways through which the AIDS virus gets inside a person's cells. Understanding how it gets in may help one day to keep it out. Another round is about to begin in the breakfast cereals price war. It's not every day that a U.S. company voluntarily gives up $100 million in sales. But General Mills, the #2 breakfast food maker, is now joining its rivals by lowering prices. Mind you, a box of cereal still certainly costs. As ABC's John Donvan reports, only a fraction of that goes for the cereal.
Lucky Charms, the arithmetic. More than 40 million boxes sold last year, now a price cut of 13%. Assuming the same rate of purchases, that's $18 million that consumers will not hand over at the cash register this year, and that's just for Lucky Charms.
And I think basically they're just giving the consumer a better value, and they're going to earn less money.
It is the American consumer who is really driving down the price of cereal. With an ounce of some cereal now more expensive than an ounce of steak, people have begun turning to the cereal packaged in large plastic bags and the cheaper generic and private label brands that now account for about 10% of all cereal sold. The big name brands may be flashier, but consumers are tired of swallowing all the extra costs built into their prices. Take a typical brand name cereal with a typical store price of about $4 a box. About 14% of that $4 is profit for the manufacturer, and 20% goes to the supermarket. Less than 37% is the actual cost of making the cereal, the grain, workers' wages, packaging, which means that the remainder, nearly a third of the price, pays for advertising and promotion. Annually, the cereal industry spends more than $3 billion this way for everything from TV ads to paying for the high rent end of the supermarket shelf.
You'll have probably 10 to 15 cents paid to the retailer to put Tony the Tiger at the end of an aisle, as opposed to burying him next to the broccoli.
Among the expenses the big companies have begun to cut is the blizzard of coupons that blows across America. 25 billion coupons last year that cost cereal makers hundreds of millions of dollars, yet fewer than 4% of shoppers ever use them. Kellogg's, for one, has announced that it will shrink its coupon program. Since Post began the latest round of price cuts in April, the company says it has increased its share of the U.S. market from 16% to 20%. That's a revenue shift of $360 million, just because the consumer got tired of paying too much for breakfast. John Donvan, ABC News, New York.
Back in just a moment.
Uh-oh, sounds like it's constipated again.
To the castle! Don't let constipation turn you into a monster. Get Colis.
Take a good look through Transitions lenses. The lightweight plastic prescription lenses with a special tint that lightens and darkens as the light changes. Transitions lenses. Lightweight plastic lenses that darken and lighten just like that. It's comfort you can see, day or night, inside or outside. Ask for Transitions lenses and see for yourself. They're right in any light.
Don't you wish we could just do this to air pollution? We can help. If homes and industries, power plants and vehicles would just switch to natural gas, Clean, economical, natural gas. Think what we'll save.
Just ask your doctor. Bayer, powerful pain relief, and so much more.
I'm Steve Dunn. Local news is next with a Safe Streets alert. Residents of a seemingly safe suburb discover gang activity on their doorstep. What do they do next? Plus a chorus for Keiko. Hear the song honoring Oregon's favorite whale at 6:30.
And your brothers. Finally this evening in our occasional series on the unusual places in the four corners of the earth, we go no farther than a distant corner of Northern California, to a private retreat built and nurtured by volunteers. The public has had almost no opportunity to see it. Here's ABC's Ken Kashiwahara.
It is a place called Odion, the largest Tibetan Buddhist center in the Western Hemisphere. Built on a remote California mountaintop, it stands as a monument to an ancient religion, a 113-foot gold stupa, sacred symbol of Buddha's enlightenment, a dazzling array of 6 major temples. It is where followers of Tibetan Buddhism pray and meditate before 108,000 tiny statues of Buddha, where they are surrounded by 800 prayer flags and more than 1,000 prayer wheels. Odion was built over 2 decades, almost entirely by volunteer disciples like Bill Farthing, who still can't believe what he helped to create, who compares it to raising a child.
After 21 years, it seems like this child is grown up now. It's way beyond me. It's completely beyond me.
The multi-million-dollar complex was completed not only with donations, but ingenuity. Some of the steel beams came from a demolished freeway, marble steps from a school that was torn down. But this is more than a place of worship. It was born out of a commitment to preserve the endangered Tibetan religion.
This is one place in the world where we might be able to guarantee for some centuries in the future that one of the world's great religions will have a safe home.
A home for ancient Tibetan Buddhist writings and artwork that were believed lost. When the Chinese invaded Tibet nearly 40 years ago, they destroyed thousands of monasteries and libraries and brutally repressed Buddhist practices. Some of the writings were smuggled out of Tibet and scattered throughout the world. Today, Odion Buddhists have collected and reproduced more than 1 million pages of the sacred writings and have begun sending boxes of them to Tibetan refugees in India. Sally Sorensen accompanied one shipment.
There's just tremendous enthusiasm when the books arrive, and it's almost greater to them than receiving food or clothing.
So Odion, which grew out of a tragedy a continent away, has become a Western refuge for an Eastern religion that is still struggling to survive. Ken Kashiwahara, ABC News, Sonoma County, California.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. Later this evening, a very special prime time, the last 7 days and 7 nights on death row with a man who will die. I'm Peter Jennings. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
You take my nerves and you're out of my brain. Goodness gracious, I thunderfire.
Goodness has nothing to do with it. I was wild in college, too, but I was in junior high while I was doing it.
It's great.